All right, so go ahead and you guys get comfortable on your backs. I'm going to stay seated. Just notice what you'd like to get comfortable with. If you'd like a blanket underneath your head. I would invite you to have your knees bent. It's easier on the low back, especially at the beginning of class. And as always, you are welcome to make yourself comfortable in whatever way works for you. So if extending the legs out along the floor is better, that's fine. And as you drop back and get settled, softly close the eyes. Just take a moment to welcome yourself to your mat. I know a few of you enjoyed some YouTube videos while I've been away. And some of you may not have unrolled the mat since the last time I saw you. So just accept who's ever here. Welcome, as Rumi would say, welcome all who have arrived. And taking that moment to check in with who that is. So just checking in with our energy level, noticing physically what's going on in the body and what choices can we make to support that. Noticing just how busy our minds may be today, if there's large to-do lists we're spinning around in, or can we use our breath and the presence of our minds into our bodies to be in the moment, just to be here right now with one another, with your mat, with the practice, the choice you made to be here. Coming back together again for the first time in over a month, probably. And just relax into it. Relax into the floor, into the support beneath you and around you. Bring your awareness to the breath. And for a moment, just simply observe the body breathing, not necessarily shifting or changing anything about the breath. However, if that naturally happens, you feel that desire to lengthen or deepen it, that's fine. And just feel that life force moving in and out of the body, that flow, that ebb and flow. As your belly rise with each breath, or the chest expand. Do you feel the breath moving in and out of the nostrils, or are you breathing through the mouth? I'm going to share with you this morning the Power Paths energy for the month of May, because I think it's really spot on. So I hope you all feel the same way. So as we approach a major point of transition with the full moon and total lunar eclipse at the end of the month, we are being challenged to question, reflect, release, choose, and commit to personal authenticity and the path of essence. This challenge invites us to choose and choose well. The choices require leaving behind old, outdated beliefs, conditioning, suffering, addictions, and other limiting behaviors. This is it. It's time to choose. Who are you? Who are you not? Sometimes it's easier to react who you are not, rather than searching for who you are. We have been imprinted and conditioned by a set of collective patterns that have greatly influenced our identities. The recent disruption in routines and behaviors has given us a chance to re-examine what is important to us, what we resonate with, and what we no longer wish to blindly put up with. With the coming transition and change and vibration on the planet, identified by the Toltecs as the shift from the fifth sun to the sixth, we have the opportunity to reset ourselves by choosing wisely to follow our hearts, to be guided by essence, and to live our lives in greater balance, harmony, and authentic self-expression. Choices this month should be committed ones followed by strong discipline and good boundaries and protection. You may find yourself stretching to the edge of your comfort level as you face a truth about who you are not. It will take courage to eliminate people, tasks, routines, and behaviors that do not support who you are becoming. If whom you are around or what you are doing with your time does not feel satisfying in some way, it's time to examine the choices, staying or leaving that situation. This month is about choosing your path. Will you choose a path that includes suffering and bad habits, or will you choose the path of spirit, always moving towards the vibration of love, hope, and beauty? There is no redemption in suffering. It's time to look through the veil of illusion and reach through it to the other side and into a new landscape of endless possibilities. We are at the choice point, and your choices this month will carry a potency that will influence who you are, what you do, where you are, and with whom. Good intentions, insights, and inspired choices require concrete and practical action to take root. The month is also fertile with earth energy that can germinate and grow the seeds of a new direction you are choosing for yourself. Cooperation is also key. Gone are the days of believing that there is more power in doing everything yourself. We are in a new paradigm that seeks community, partnership, and collaboration instead of being the lone wolf. As we navigate this month of change and choice, there will be times of feeling a great vulnerability as identities are shed like an old skin. If you have ever had a pet snake, they can be very grumpy when they are shedding, but shedding is inevitable, and without shedding, there is no growth. Resistance is also alive and well this month. It's a discipline to keep going, to keep moving forward no matter what. It will be hard work, but if you do your homework, you will get the rewards. So I just invite you, rather than analyzing that or overanalyzing it or getting into your head about it, just kind of notice what you felt. Notice how your body responded. Notice where you may have felt that in the body. Notice if it felt true to you or not, and that's okay too. And just feel it though, instead of trying to think it aloud, and just allow it to infuse your practice. Just allow those words and that guidance, that sharing to infuse or to influence, to guide your practice today. Find your way back into the breath awareness, and begin to lengthen the breath if you didn't before. Finding a nice even length between the inhale and the exhale, about 85% of capacity. And just feel and be with that breath flowing in and out of the body. Allow the belly to expand and the chest to expand. Notice if you'd like to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, or does it feel good to breathe through the nose in both directions? You choose. Tune into that inner knowing and what serves you this morning. Go ahead, if you don't have your knees bent, go ahead and bend them. Bring the knees and the feet all the way together. Arms can rest. You can rest your palms on your belly, or they might want to open wide, palms up. I'll leave that up to you. And we're going to begin with our very simple sacral rock. Just side to side, keeping the feet planted. Small, mindful movements. And you just feel that low back kind of rock right across your sacrum. Just notice how that feels, and also pay attention to the breath, noticing if you're allowing that to fall away. We want to maintain that nice, full, deep breathing. Listening to your own body, decide if you'd like to make this a little bit bigger, rocking a little farther side to side, feeling the outer edges of the feet roll off the floor. Just welcoming yourself back to your mat, slowly and gently, compassionately, patiently. And when you feel you've completed that, we'll bring the knees back to center. Take the feet hip width apart, parallel, and then we'll come into our hip hikers or sliders, just sliding the hips up the mat towards the shoulder. Again, nice, slow, mindful movements, just very slowly inviting ourselves into the practice. And continue to check in with who it is that's here. There may be things you didn't notice from the beginning, the start of the class. And as always, just a reminder that the knees may move towards you and away from you, kind of a scissor motion. They don't move side to side. Movements are smaller than that. It's all very subtle movement for the sacrum. Come to center, and then go ahead and we'll come into hip pointers. Press into the right foot, point the right hip bone up to the ceiling, and back down. And then the left, and back down. And then just take a few moments here. Same idea with the knees. As you press into one foot, that knee moves away from you and comes back to center. And then the opposite foot, opposite cheek, stays on the mat. Coming back to some of the basics today. Come back to center, and then we'll go ahead and just alternate between those two. So just do a few hip hikers and then a few hip pointers, just back and forth. And if you have a favorite one and you prefer to do the other, that one or the other, that's fine too. Keep breathing that nice, long, even breath. And then drop back into center. And then from here, we'll come into our pelvic tilt. So just tuck under and reverse that, creating a little bit of a back bend. Buttock stays on the floor, softly pressing into the feet, just to create that anterior posterior tip of the pelvis. Reminder, posterior tilt. We tuck the tail under and flatten the low back. Anterior tip of the pelvis, we create a little bit of that back bend. We're tipping the pelvis forward on the anterior, tipping the pelvis back on the posterior. And then bring that to center. And from here, we'll draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug, rounding that low back a little bit more deeply, feeling that stretch. And then we'll connect, we'll come into our Apanasana, connecting our breath. Inhale as you bring the knees arm lengths away, and exhale towards you. Inhale away, and exhale towards you. Slow and steady, with a nice full breath. And we'll take this into knee circles. Just move in one direction, big or small. A little massage along the top of the pelvis and through the low back. And then switch, go the other direction. And then maybe take the knees and circle them wide and back together. Just getting a little bit into the inner thighs or our adductors. And then we'll go ahead and place the feet back into the floor, hip width apart and parallel. We'll go ahead and remove the blanket away from the head. And then just make sure that the space above you is free. So let's take some time in our moving bridge. So it invites not only the lower half of the body into the practice, but the upper half. Arms by your side, palms down to begin. We'll start with just the lower half of the body. Go ahead and tuck the tailbone under, press into the feet, lift the hips up off the floor. Maybe it's only a few inches for you today. You can keep this smaller if you'd like, and then on your exhale, you'll lower back down. So the inhale brings us up, and the exhale, we lower. Just a few rounds here, just feeling through the spine, noticing how that's feeling, how high you want to lift the hips or not. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and involve the upper body. So on your next inhale, if you'd like, hips come up, both arms reach overhead to the floor above you. Leave them there as you exhale and lower the hips. And just feel that nice stretch of the shoulders and the side body there. And then inhale back up to the hips. And exhale, lower everything down. Just mindful moving meditation. Inhale, hips up, both arms overhead. Exhale, just the hips. Inhale back up. And exhale everything down. Okay, so you can just do this at your own pace. You can change it up a little bit if you'd like to. Just start to get into your own space and your own breath, your own pace. Continuing to stay present to the breath, to yourself, to the practice. The next time you find your way back down to our starting point, arms by your side, just rest there for a moment. Feel the practice so far. Just notice what may have shifted or not. Just finding an acceptance of whatever's showing up. Nice, full, deep, comfortable breaths. We'll go ahead and interlace the hands behind the right thigh as you pick up that right foot. And let's go ahead and inhale, we extend. Foot towards the ceiling. Exhale and bend. Release the heel back down towards your buttocks. Inhale, we straighten the leg. And exhale, we bend. Okay, so we're just checking out the back of the leg, seeing what the flexibility is there, what your range of motion is today, how that hamstring, calf, back of the knee, what's coming up for you there. And then extend, you inhale and straighten, go ahead and pause. Just find a minimal edge here, okay? Just a minimum stretch, nothing too intense. Really being kind to ourselves. We don't need to come here and find our maximum edge, especially since we're still warming up. And from here, we can point and flex the foot. Just kind of feel the shin and then the calf. Circling the foot in one direction. And switch, circling the other way. And then release that foot back into the mat. Same thing on the other side. Interlace the hands behind the left thigh. And 3 to 4 rounds. Inhale, extend. And just notice this leg. What does it feel like in the back of this leg? Could be very different. Could be the same. And then we'll come in and hold here. Just notice the calf, the back of the knee, the hamstring. Again, minimal edge is what I'm inviting you into today. And of course, this is your practice. And we'll point and flex. Circle the foot in one direction. And switch, circle the other way. And go ahead and just take a couple more breaths here. And then release that. And we'll go ahead and take our feet out as wide as our mat. Open the arms wide. On an exhale, drop the knees to one side. Inhale, open wide. And exhale, release to the other side. So back and forth, our double knee drop, getting a little bit into the outer hips. Our IT band along the outer edge of our thigh. You might feel this in the groin, the inner thigh as we open wide. A little bit of a twist, very gentle. And then if you'd like to get the head involved, you can begin to rotate or roll the head side to side, the opposite direction the knees are going. we'll go ahead when you've gone equally side to side, come back to center. Let's draw the knees into the chest one more time. And then we'll go ahead and find our way onto our knees. So go ahead and roll to one side. And finding our hands placed almost as wide as your mat. If you'd like to try this, just bringing the tip of your pinkies or the pinkies to the edge of your mat. The crease of your wrists are still forward or parallel with the front of your mat. You also have the option to come up onto the fists if the wrists get tired as always, right? So just nice little reminders. Draw the navel to the spine, so a gentle engagement of the core, and on an exhale, round the spine. Right? So we kind of come into cat-cow very habitually. We don't really think about it. We do this every practice, and so it becomes kind of mindless. And so I just invite you to really be present to the experience as if you're a beginner, you're on your mat the first time, that beginner's mindset, and just enjoy that experience of discovery, curiosity, being open to what's shifting for you, what authenticity looks like to you, what boundaries you need to set for you this month, what shifts or changes are you open to. And then from here, we can start to take the hips and circle them around, big or small. Continue with that gentle engagement of the core. And then making sure we switch and circle the other way. And finding our way back to center, and we'll start to come into our Chakravarkasana. Modify any way you need to. I know several of you have knee stuff. Exhaling, draw back, and inhaling up. So for those of you who can't go back very far, it might feel good to reach forward. Okay. And then some of you have the ability to do both. Inhaling up, and exhaling back. When you feel ready, let's find our first down dog. If you're ready, I'm going to come into it now. If you're not ready, you're welcome to stay with that Chakravarkasana. If you are, curl those toes under, take the tailbone high into the sky, and let's just walk it out. Find a playful dog pose, just kind of moving and shifting around, kind of snake-like qualities in the spine, like we're shedding, right? Just like the reading shared, getting rid of stuff, working it out. And then we'll release back down to the knees. Exhale into a child's pose or onto your belly, whichever you prefer, as we take a moment to pause in the practice and just feel. Just be present to the experience, whatever's coming up for you. And breathing deeply into the belly. So whether you're on your belly or in a child's pose, feel the belly press into the thighs or the floor, allowing the back body to expand. It takes over the work, right, or takes over for the expansion. The belly doesn't have room. So you start to feel the low back, mid back open up. come into a few rounds here before we come up to standing so that we're not on our knees for too long. Inhale up to hands and knees. Exhale, down dog. Just a little bit of our mini flow, inhaling to knees and exhaling into child. Creating some more warmth in the body, connecting breath and movement, and really engaging with the whole body in the practice here. Now the next time you find your way into a down dog, pause. Take a few breaths, just allowing yourself to find your pose. Find some stillness, find the strength, the ease, the length in the spine. And then on your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Coming into a standing forward fold. Allow the head to relax completely. You might even shake it around a little bit, just relaxing the neck. You can take a hold of the opposite elbows if you want, allowing the spine just to hang out, draping over the thighs. Bend the knees as much as you need to so that the stretch you're experiencing is gentle. Okay, nothing too intense. And we'll bring our hands to our hips. Bend the knees even more. Use your quadriceps, engage with your core, lengthen the spine, reach the crown of the head forward as we come up to standing. Kind of find our balance here, our equilibrium. So allow the arms to relax by your side. A gentle engagement of the core. Knees are soft, so just make sure you're not locking into the knee joint. And let's come into a little bit of our sacred movement we've been working on for the last few months. So on an inhale, the palms are going to be down, backs of the hands are up. So it's like you're grabbing all the nourishment from the earth. Fingers and hands are relaxed. It's a nice big inhale up. And then palms down as you exhale down through the center of the body. Just filling yourself with all that goodness. And again, inhale, you can have the eyes open or closed. I'll leave that up to you. And exhale down. And a few more here. Just find your own pace. Just a very simple yet powerful movement of breath, connecting into the earth, feeling grounded, stable, steady, calm. And just allow yourself to have that essence fill you from head to toe. Whatever it is that you need for yourself, whatever it is that you're pulling up from the earth. And the next exhale, pause and just feel. Be present to the sensations coming up for you, the emotions. Use the breath to continue to bring the busy mind back here. Good. So let's make sure our feet are like more like shoulder width apart, so a little wider. And again, knees soft, arms relaxed by your side. We're just going to do our little twisting movement. So the knees are slightly bent, the arms are completely relaxed and hanging. They're going along for the ride. We're leading the movement from the hips, right? From our core, and the arms just gently swing side to side. We're going to spend a little time here. This is a really nice way to release energy, to relax the upper body, to feel this stability in our feet and the lightness in the upper half of the body. Yeah. And then notice what this experience is for you. Those are the things I feel. And just notice the sensations and feelings for you. Right? So sometimes these practices can get very specific and very detailed, and yet it's such a personal experience. It's our own inner and outer journey with all of this. So learning to just listen from within and trust that guidance. Trust your own experience. It could be completely different than mine. Deep breath in. Full breath out. We're going to slowly start to come back to center. Bring this to a halt. And then again, just notice the sensations. Palms in front of you, palms up and hands in front of you. Right, we're going to inhale, pull up now, just pulling up. Inhale. At the heart, we flip the palms over and gaze up, pressing up to the ceiling. Rooting down to the feet. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Hold the breath. And exhale, reaching out through the fingertips as we float the arms back down. And again, inhale. Hold at the top. Press up. Root down. Reach, 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 reach. And reach out through the fingertips as you exhale out wide. And again, inhale. And exhale. Feels really good. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Relax and feel. Good. So now we're going to go ahead and generously bend the knees as we rotate to the right. Okay. We're going to palms up, arms wide. Inhale, straighten the knees, reach up back to center. Exhale out wide, palms down, bend the knees again. And then switch. Inhale, palms up. Back to center. Exhale, bend the knees, out wide, palms down. Inhale. And exhale. So a little bit of a twist. Definitely reaching still with the arms. Exhale. One more time each side. Inhale. And exhale. So it can also be very energizing depending on how quickly we move, how deeply we breathe, right? Or how slowly we do this all. And come back to center, straighten the legs, and again feel. All right, so let's go ahead and find our way back to the front of our mats. Actually, I'm sorry, let's not. I'm going to come back to the center. Let's do some half salutations. Let's get into the side body a little bit, and then we'll come back to what I wanted to do. So let's inhale, reach up, take a hold of one wrist. I think we're all pretty familiar with this one. Exhale to the opposite side of the wrist you're holding. Pause here, take a few breaths, and just feel that side you're stretching into. Breathe into that rib cage. Feel that stretch as you equally stay weighted on both feet. And on your next inhale, come back up and switch sides. Exhale. And just a few breaths here. Breathing into that rib cage, opening that up, rooted equally through both feet. And on your next inhale, come back up. Exhale, lower the arms. Palms through either your low back or your hips, whichever is easiest. Opening the shoulders, lift through the sternum, slightly tuck the tailbone, taking the gaze up to the ceiling if that's safe on your neck. Big inhale, exhale, just hold, feel the heart opening. And on your next exhale, allow the palms to run down the back of the legs, folding forward. We're still in a little bit of a wider stance. I just kind of invite you to stay there, that shoulder width, and just feel that. Allow the spine to hang. Just come into that hanging position again. Maybe your hands make it to the floor. Maybe you need to even have the knees bent and your forearms on your thighs, right? Only take this as far as it feels right for you. Let the head relax. Allow the shoulders to relax. Forward fold. And then we'll go ahead, bring the arms by your side, reaching behind you, lengthen the spine, bend the knees, engage the core as you inhale, wide and reach up. Take a hold of one wrist. We'll move through this now. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale back up. And exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale over the arms. Inhale, open the heart. And exhale, fold forward. This time, let's add halfway. Hands to your shins. Lengthen the arms. Reach through the crown of the head, flat back. And exhale, release. Or neutral spine, I should say. We don't really have a flat spine. Inhale, come back up to standing. Take a hold of one wrist. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale. And exhale, waking up all directions of the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Small standing baby cobra, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale halfway, nice, beautiful long spine, engage the core. Exhale, release. Inhale back up to standing. One more round, take a hold of one wrist, exhale to the opposite side. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale wide. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale back to standing. Bring your palms together overhead. And exhale into the heart. Pausing here, backs of the thumbs connecting to the heart center. Take a few breaths. Noticing the sensations. Be present to what's showing up. And release the hands. Now let's go ahead and find our way back to the front of our mats if you're not there already. And on an inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. And let's step our right foot back. Have your blocks on either side of your left foot. Okay, and bring that right knee to the floor if you can. Now, some of you that may not be possible today. So you can modify this by just coming in and out of the lunge rock a little differently. If you can bring that knee to the ground, great. And we'll just do our lunge rock, right? So we inhale forward, engage the spine, core, lengthen the spine, gaze straight ahead, heart open. Exhale, we draw back. So we begin to straighten that front leg. You can bring the toes up off the floor if you want to. And then we inhale, forward. Lift and lengthen. Exhale, draw back. So it's a drawing inward energetically as we go back. And opening outward as we come forward. Minimal stretch in either direction. Just taking care of yourself. And find neutral. You can keep your hands on your block. And we're going to take our right foot and simply step it forward. So we're going to forward fold again. Okay. And then we'll step our left foot back. Okay, so you'll either do that lunge rock, modifying by not putting any weight on the knee, or just place that left knee into the floor. Okay. And inhale, lengthen, open, gaze straight ahead. Exhale back. Long, slow, deep, even breaths. The next time you inhale, find your way to neutral. Curl those left toes under and step the left foot up. Back to a standing forward fold. Go ahead and take the blocks off off your mat. Just move them out in front of you. And then from here, we're going to go ahead, step with the right foot all the way to the back, or step back with the right foot, excuse me. And have the feet hip width apart. So we want to come up into a warrior one. So I'm going to invite you to not align that left heel with the right arch. Have the feet a little wider apart. Okay, bending into that front knee. And when you're ready, engage your core and come on up. Okay, so just feel the stability that that provides by having the feet a little wider. Okay. We also want to notice the fact that that makes it easier to keep the hips forward. Okay, so it's just a modification I like to offer. You can do it or not. I know traditionally it's taught to align the back foot with the front. Okay. From here, just kind of bend the knee and straighten. Notice how that feels, what's going on in the knee, how deeply you want to bend. Keep it more minimal if you'd like. Right, just feeling into your own body. Next time you straighten, inhale, bring the arms overhead. Palms together and exhale into the heart. So just nice gentle movements in and out today. It's like reminding the body what it's like to be back on our mats. And the next time you exhale and find your way into the pose, let's pause. Now you can pause keeping your hands at the heart. See how that feels for you today. If it's resonating more to traditionally come into the traditional expression of the pose, extending the arms, palms facing one another, shoulders away from the ears, feel free. Lots of options. Again, minimizing how much you bend into that knee if you've got any knee stuff going on. Or if you're looking to deepen it, you can come all the way into a 90-degree bend. Okay, so it's up to you. Let's take one more breath here. And then on your next exhale, just go ahead and fold forward. Bring your hands to the mat and step the back foot forward. Okay, so you're, again, back to a standing forward fold. Hang out. You can always have a block, right? You can use your blocks to come into a forward fold. So if you want them a little nearby, that's fine too. And then we'll step our left foot back. Okay. Same alignment with the feet. So when you feel stable, you engage with your core and come on up. Okay. Check out the right knee, right? How's it feeling today? It may not be the same as the left. Can you bend a little farther or not? Just kind of in and out here a little bit, just kind of checking things out. Notice if you want to make any adjustments in the foundation to feel more stable. And then the next time you straighten, make it an inhale, bringing the arms overhead. Exhale into the heart, bend the knee. Just a couple more rounds there. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll come in and hold for a few breaths. Feel the groundedness of this pose, the stability, the strength that's required, and what can you relax to be into this pose with ease as well. And then on your next exhale, fold forward and step that left foot up. Once again, standing forward fold. This time, go ahead and extend the arms out alongside of you. Bend the knees. As you inhale, lengthen that spine, engage the core, and come on up. And exhale, palms into your heart. Feel the practice, just noticing the sensations. On your next inhale, reach wide and up. Exhale, fold forward, down through center. Right foot steps back. We're going to come into a warrior two. Stay where you are. I'm just going to switch sides so I'm facing you when I turn around. So again, feet are the same distance apart or sometimes a little wider for warrior two. You could align the front heel with the back arch on this pose if you'd like to, because we will open the hips a little bit. You may find, however, that it's a little bit more stable to keep the feet a little farther or a little wider. Okay. Again, core, come on up. And hands to your hips, just open the heart. So we're going to open that right foot a bit. Spine's nice and tall. Yeah, and we play the hips side to side. You can play this direction because you'll notice if I drop in, so I'm dropping my side, I'm impinging that left hip flexor or my left hip area. If I switch that and come here, I'm really overstretching my inner groin. If I come into center, neither of that occurs. Right? That's why it's important to understand the movement of the pelvis and where it is in space in your pose. The other area is, of course, the posterior anterior tip of the pelvis, okay? If I posteriorly tip and tuck my tailbone, I'm really overstretching my right hip flexor. In the opposite direction, I'm feeling, for me personally, I feel a little bit more in the groin. It draws my heart forward. I'm no longer upright. So again, neutral pelvis. So spine stays tall, okay? We can straighten that front leg if we've been in it too long, sorry. Give that a break, okay? And just bend and straighten and take a look at the knee, because you want that knee to track over the ankle. All right, so if you press to the outer edge of the foot a little bit more, it prevents the knee from dropping in. Okay, all these little things. We just haven't been on our mats in a while. I like to cover some of the basics, okay? From here, go ahead, inhale, straighten the front knee, okay, and bring the arms to shoulder height. Exhale, bend the front knee, hands to your heart. Inhale, straighten. So we're taking the arms the opposite direction that we would normally find in the pose. Exhale to the heart. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Gazing at the tips of your fingers. Okay, a little different than we normally do warrior two. Just feel this, because there's a softness with our hands resting in our hearts, and maybe that's what you need today. If you prefer to find the traditional pose, let the arms float up shoulder height and take the gaze out through those left fingertips. Okay, so you decide what's serving you today. In my life right now, anything soft is serving me, right? Anything that I can find to help me reduce stress and to relax and to feel more peaceful in my body is really helping me. So you have to decide what's working for you. Right? Go ahead and straighten that front leg. Rotate towards the front of your mat again. Fold forward and step the back foot up. Okay. Pause for a moment. I'm going to switch sides so that I'm facing you when we go to the other side. Left foot steps back. Notice your stance, how far apart the feet are from the front to the back of your mat and side to side. Okay. What helps you feel most stable? To slowly find your way up into the pose. Okay, so the hips open. We open that left toe slightly. Okay, front knee is bent. Just for a moment, play. Play with the hips front to back, or side to side, and then front to back. And find that neutral position where there's no strain in the hip flexor or the groin. Okay, the spine can stay tall and upright. You can see yourselves probably in the camera, although you may have me as your screen, I guess. But I want you to really feel that height in the spine. There's a tendency to lean into this pose. Right? Straighten that front leg. Okay? Allow the arms to float up shoulder height. Exhale, bend the front knee, hands to your heart. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Pause and hold, and you decide. Expression of the pose. Traditional, gazing out through those right fingertips, or do you enjoy something softer? That's how I define it. It may be a different definition for you. And just breathe. on your next exhale, go ahead and rotate towards the front of your mat. And this time, press back into down dog. So have both feet back. Walk that out a little bit. And then go ahead and inhale to the knees. Finding your resting position, whether that's on your belly or back into a child's pose. You can have the arms extended out in front of you. You can bring the palms together, bend the elbows, and take the thumbs to the back of your head or neck. Lots of options here. You could rest your head on your hands. And again, just breathing deeply, taking this moment to pause all the doing and just be. Just simply breathe right here and know you're enough. And let's go ahead and come on in and roll onto your backs. Have your blocks nearby. So take a moment to breathe here before we come into our next pose. Place your palms on your belly. Just really feel the breath move in and out of the body again. And the freedom of the belly to expand here. The ease of movement there in the belly. Good. So let's do a little bit of a restorative bridge pose. So we're going to take our blocks at their flattest level. Go ahead and place them right underneath the sacrum. Okay. Remember, it's not at the low back, so we want our low backs to be elongated and not in a back bend. Okay. Now you have some options here. Most of you know them well. You can bring your feet wide and just let the knees come together. That's one option, keeping the palms on the belly, opening them wide. So what you do with your upper arms is totally up to you, okay? Just so it's the lower half of the body, I'm just going to give you some options here. You can keep them hip width apart. You can lift the feet up off the floor. This has been my favorite lately. Or you can extend the legs. So it's kind of a modified version of legs up the wall. Really nice for blood pressure, for assistance in sleep, something nice to do at night. And then of course the arms can be on the belly, they could be wide. Sometimes I've seen people even bring them overhead. So just finding the pose that's serving you today. Breathe. So as you breathe, I'm just going to invite you into a 3-part breath. So each inhale begins with the belly expanding, the rib cage, and then the chest. All the way so we open into the heart. Pause at the top for a moment, and then slowly release out heart, ribs, and belly. If you're comfortable doing so, pause for a moment after the exhale. So we inhale from the belly to the heart. Hold at the top for a moment, just a second or two. Feel that fullness of the breath, and then exhale and release everything out. Long, smooth, even breaths. Notice if it feels good to breathe in both directions through the nose, or inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. As we inhale through the nose, yoga teaches us that it's about filtering the air that we breathe. So, because we have all these little nose hairs that filter the air that we breathe. It's also about, it allows us to have a little bit more control over the breath. Each time you feel your mind wandering away, just bring it back into that three-part breath. Just really concentrating on the flow of the breath, direction, the length, the sensations. One more minute here. The feet are up, bring them back down to the mat. Remove the block. The spine, settle back down into your mat and just feel for a moment. Just feel the practice so far. Notice what may have shifted from the beginning of our practice together and now. And again, we'll draw the knees into the chest. Just round that low back. And come into our Apanasana. Inhale and exhale towards you. And then some knee circles again. Making sure you go several times in both directions. And just notice if there's anything else that might complete your practice here today. Just take 1 minute here for any intuitive movement before we come into Shavasana. Whatever serves you. If there's something that we didn't touch upon today that you'd like to, like a twist or a deeper hip stretch. And also keep in mind that we're coming down with the practice, bringing the practice down and just come into our guided Shavasana, breath work. Wherever you are, just take a few more breaths. And then take some time getting settled into Shavasana, lying flat on your back, legs extended along the floor. I'll stay seated to guide you. You may want a blanket under your head, something rolled underneath your knees, maybe something on you, a blanket or sweater or socks, just making yourself all cozy and comfy. If you have an eye pillow, you might want to use that. Arms a little ways from your side, palms up, allowing the heart to open and the shoulders to drop back. If that feels too vulnerable, place your hands on your belly. Usually that's more soothing to people. Allow the feet to splay open. And allow the whole body to melt and let go into your mat. There isn't a holding of anything, the breath, any muscle, any joint. Just let it all relax. Once you've settled in and you don't have any adjustments to make, eyes softly closed, take a moment to feel your breath. I'm going to invite you just for a moment to lengthen it again. Nice full inhale and slow exhale. And as you breathe, I'm just going to invite you to imagine that each breath in moves in through the crown of the head, and you can feel it beginning to fill you. Feel the whole head and the neck and the shoulders and the arms and the fingertips, down through the torso and the hips and both legs, knees, calves, feet, and all the way to the toes. And as you exhale, the breath exits through the toes. And that exhalation draws and empties all the way back up. Same journey in reverse direction through the crown of the head. Inhale through the crown of the head and exhale through the toes. And just feel the breath filling you and emptying. There may be a color associated with this. Your favorite color may imbue the breath and just filling you. Does that color, if you have a color, does it have a sense of healing vibration to it for you? Is there a warmth or a coolness occurring? Inhaling and exhaling. Just a few more rounds. At the completion of the next exhale, let any shaping of the breath fall away. And allow yourself to feel the sensations of healing left over from that breath, or that color, or vibration. Feel every part of the body surrender completely. Relax deeply. Crown of the head, forehead, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, nose, upper lip, lower lip, chin, back of the head, the entire head completely relaxed, front of the neck, back of the neck, right shoulder, left shoulder, right upper arm, elbow, forearm, hand, front, back, palm of the hand, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. Entire right arm completely relaxed. Left upper arm, elbow, forearm, back of the hand, palm, thumb, pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky. Entire left arm completely relaxed. Both arms completely relaxed. Chest, rib cage, belly, all relaxed. Entire back side of the body, upper back, mid back, low back. Pelvis completely relaxed and open. Right hip, left hip, right thigh, knee, calf, shin, ankle, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth, baby toe. Entire right leg completely relaxed. Left thigh, knee, calf, shin, left ankle, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, big toe, second toe, third, fourth, baby toe. Entire left leg Both legs completely relaxed. Whole body surrendered. No effort, just be. Few deep breaths. Wiggle some fingers and toes. You can stay on your back or roll to your side as I share with you a reading by Dana Falls. This is what I have to say to you. Allow your mind to quiet just a bit. It's been spiraling inward, obsessing on small details of future events, stuck in an endless loop of worry. It chews on its own tail. Take a moment with your eyes closed and try this experiment. Invite the spiral to turn upward. Imagine the mind opening to receive the wisdom of the universe, innate goodness, the energy to remember that only this moment has potency. What is past or yet to come cannot be directly experienced, but this moment can. Be as intimate with your next breath as you wish to be with truth. Experience every nuance of being alive in this body at this time with these thoughts, emotions, fears, and doubts. Be here and nowhere else. And trust that you don't need to worry in order for events to play out as they will. You don't need to stay tense to function well. In fact, exactly the reverse is true. Let go of grasping, and in that momentary relaxation, creativity comes alive, and problems you can never solve with the mind come clear through intuition and the vast intelligence of truth. Let go of grasping, and in that momentary relaxation, creativity comes alive, and problems you can never solve with the mind come clear through intuition and the vast intelligence of truth. If you haven't yet, go ahead and roll to one side. Pause with a few breaths there. And find your way to a seated position just for a moment with your hands together at your hearts, just acknowledging this time you gave yourself today. Acknowledging one another and the practice we share together. And thank you for all your loving kindness and support for me in these last few months. It's wonderful to be back. Thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher. Namaste.